Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we are live, triple streaming some mixed martial mindset with my boy, John Fitch, the smashiest guy I know. How are you, John?
I'm keeping sane.
It's kind of hard these days, isn't it? It's not as easy as you think.
It's a little weird, but keeping on a schedule I think helps. That's what's been. I've been doing that for the last 4 weeks now. 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah.
I mean, they all kind of blend together. And before we get into the blending, the good news about tonight is we're gonna go over some fights, fight by fight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some real fighters. I'm like excited. My fucking left nipple has been super hard for the whole week. I can't wait for this whole thing. It's gonna be. Hopefully, it's gonna go down. We don't know. But before I even get into it, I got to start with my GoFundMe. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm totally and completely demonetized. Yeah, I mean, I have to. That's why we're opening up to all separate platforms. I'm putting the word out. Any mainstream media organization that wants to touch me, alternative media, come talk to me. You know, I'm a veteran in the game, and I'm really just trying to get my voice heard before it gets completely squashed. And I guess we could start there. I do want to remind everybody, thegruelingtruth.com is where you can find this audio podcast every week the following day, and johnfitch.net is where you find everything John Fitch, including his personal YouTube channel. And do you have a link to the Rockfin yet? Oh, we don't want to forget that.
There should be a link. There should be a Rockfin link up there also.
And let's not forget the book, The Weight Cut Bible, especially now that fights are back on. They're supposed to be 10 and 10 weeks in Bellator. But the big news, of course, is the UFC. Everything's weird, John. Like, last week we talked, I think, a little bit about the doctors, right? And it wasn't too long after that those doctors got pulled from YouTube. So, at what point do you think this ends where medical professionals can't give their medical opinions? London Real can't have David Icke on as a guest. If you watched my video from yesterday, I mean, they had 88,000. I said 66 or 64. When I came home, I realized that it was stuck on 88,000, 45 minutes into an interview. And I'm not kidding. I was watching those super chats fly up. That stream probably made $10,000. And let me put that into perspective. YouTube gets a 30% cut of that for doing fucking nothing.
Nothing.
And they just...
Hosting the platform.
And they still pulled something that would have been massively popular and massively profitable for them. So obviously, this goes beyond capitalism. How much farther does it go, Mr. Fitch?
Oh, man. I don't know. Like, I listened to some economic stuff on YouTube too, and some people were saying this crash was coming, but I mean the market always goes up and down. So like eventually those guys are going to be right. So some people are saying that the economic crash is what's really going on, and it was going to happen regardless of the CovD or whatever. They're just taking advantage of the situation. The longer they draw it out, the more they transfer wealth from the middle and the poor up to the guys in the top, because people who can't pay their mortgages, people who can't pay off stuff for their businesses, people whose businesses are going to go bankrupt and they're going to end up having to sell. So all the people that have money and aren't really going to suffer from this at all, they're going to buy up all the businesses that bankrupted. They're going to buy up all the loans. They're going to buy up all of the foreclosed properties. So they're going to increase their wealth, their overall wealth, while everybody else gets a lot poorer.
It is what I think is the predator class consolidating power. And I said that from the beginning. And no matter what happens with the disease and the lockdowns, at the end of the day, the top are going to take even more and the middle class are going to be gutted. And day by day, we are absolutely seeing that. And yeah, we had a propped up market. But how are we not going to have a propped up market printing $6+ trillion and probably really more along the lines of like $20+ trillion, not to bail out the little guy in most cases. Yeah, you're getting your breadcrumb checks, but when a guy like Warren Buffett dumps all
he's making a ton of money off of this.
Well, so is Bezos.
He's happy for this.
Yeah, and and that's the thing. At the end of the day, and we've talked about this, yeah, maybe they lose a little liquid money. but their assets are so much more, and maybe the assets are worth less, but they have more of the infrastructure. Like you just said, when these people can't pay their mortgages, well, I'll just take that block and I'm going to knock it down and I'm going to put up my little factory, and we're not going to have a lot of workers there, but there's going to be a lot of automation, and there's going to be a lot of drones delivering you stuff.
They're going to start building the pods. Put people in.
I mean, you might as well live in a pod when there's murder hornets everywhere now, John. And that's
I know. Now we have murder hornets. I thought that was like some like stupid meme somebody was making fun. Like that's a real thing. I saw a headline today.
Well, the thing is, it's a real thing in the sense
murder hornets, Japanese murder hornets.
They were talking about that before all of this, and again,
they used to be killer bees.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they kill the bees. That's where the real murder game is. Sure, they get 50 people, but think about this. If they kill 50 people a year in Asia, we're talking about Asia, not even China anymore. All of Asia, not China.
All of
Asia, we're talking about well over 1.5 billion people, and they got 40. Yeah, we get 40 deaths in this country from regular wasp and bee stings where people are allergic. So the headline is very misleading, but the reason they're able to get away with it is what they really do is they attack the bee colonies and fucking eviscerate them. They go out in swarms and kill bees. I think that's the more frightening aspect. Don't be scared of the murder hornets, guys. The bees should be scared.
But the bees are already dying anyways, aren't they? Isn't that still a thing? The disappearing bee populations?
I think there was some kind of a program this year to repopulate the bees in the United States. You ever been to I don't know if they call them a bee farm or whatever, but I've been to one. I've
driven by them. I haven't been to one, but I've seen they're probably any farms. I've seen the baskets stacked up along the almond groves off the 5. I think that's probably somebody who has a farm brings those out there, leaves them so that they pollinate the almonds.
Well, yeah, when I went and saw one, the guy had a regular farm. He had a pig farm as well. So you would walk through the pig farm, and then over farther away you'd have the bee farm, the hives, and then across the street that's where all of his non-livestock was, where all the produce was growing. And, you don't want to get too close. I mean, I didn't want to get too close, but the dude pulled the thing right off, and they were there. And I'm like, damn, man, I got to find that film. That's got to be over a decade old. What's your state looking like before we get to the fights, man? Like, for me, upstate New York's ready to revolt. I mean, we had those protests, and, the media wouldn't cover number one. They were kind of big in Long Island, right? In Suffolk County, that's large. And then 2, up here in upstate New York, the Fulton County Sheriff led them. Zero media coverage that the head of law enforcement in Fulton County was leading the protests.
Here in California, I have not seen any protests. I don't know if there are any going on. But when I went to the beach on Saturday, they had closed a lot of the parking off, a lot of the road side parking. That's, part of the state property, whatever. To try to discourage people from being out, but people were everywhere. People were riding their bikes. People were going on motorcycle rides. People had their families going on walks. People were on trails hiking. We went to one beach, and the parking was blocked off. So luckily I recognized that on the way up that was happening. So I kind of figured they were going to do that. So I found a spot that was close. We still had to walk about a half mile to get to the beach access. But when we get down there, it's like a climb down. You can see there's a cop in a Bronco, just hanging out looking over the beach, and was like, they got a big sign by the entrance that says, beach is closed, and then it's closed from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And isn't that so it's so the surfers, I guess, can go in the morning and then at night.
Oh, is that what they're trying to say? Well, I saw Tim Pool's tweet of New York City and Central Park, and he's like, look at all the Trump supporters defying the rules. And it was just everybody at the park. I thought it was hilarious. I retweeted it. But the not so funny thing about that, John, is they gave out 70 tickets.
Yeah.
They gave out 70 tickets, and
yes, we ended up seeing the cop, and I was like, I'm not risking a ticket for this. I don't need a $1,200 ticket for some bull crap. So we walked back to the truck and then found the next beach place. There was some road parking parked there. Other people were there for bike riding and hiking. We just went down to the beach. We were the only ones there. Another guy came down to do some surfing, some windsurfing, and then another guy did some windsurfing. But that was it. So it was a nice private beach day.
Yeah, man. Again, wacky and weird times. And again, during this COVID 1984, guys, I do want to remind everybody that I'm trying out every platform I can. And I'm going to have soon the creator of Minds, Bill Ottman, on the program. I'm over at Minds.com, and I've got this affiliate link for you other creators out there that are thinking of jumping ship. It's a bounty. It's a Minds bounty. So I'm putting that in the description. I'm putting that in the live stream. I want everybody to check that out. Before we get into the actual card of the UFC, it's a story I sent you last week because we've discussed the Ali Act extensively on this program, John, especially your involvement in it. And we've also discussed the fact that Mark Hunt really got the screw job when it came to the Lesnar fight.
Yeah.
Stepped into that fight against a fully juiced Lesnar, took one of the greatest piss poundings by an almost 300-pound man I've ever seen in my lifetime. I mean, that one was a tough one to watch. I was obviously hoping that Mark Hunt was going to put him down. Lesnar came in there, full throttle wrestler, did a lot of takedowns, a lot of fitch smash, only his hands are the size of hams.
Big boy.
Big boy. Have you ever?
And then he decided to sue. Him and his manager, lawyer, whatever, decided to kind of go at it alone and sue the UFC. And there's a thing with the UFC contracts is like any dispute you have, you're supposed to go through their arbitration. So that means they pick a judge. It's one of their friends. And their buddy basically sits down and listens to you complain and then tells you tough shit. Pretty much that's how way it goes. That's how it goes every time. Mm-hmm. We tried with the MMA FA. We tried to get him more involved with us, but he wanted to go his own lone route and do it this way. The article's a little bit confusing because he's not in talks with any of us. He hasn't offered to go to DC and lobby. He hasn't talked to any politicians that we know of. So, I mean, I don't know, if he's just saying this just because he hopes that we get it done. Like he's just hoping from afar, because like he hasn't really taken any concrete actions towards implementing any of those things that he talked about in that article.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to reach out to him. I'd love to have him on this show as the first guest, the first three-peat on Mixed Martial Mindset. Speaking of MMA fighters, I did kind of want to get your take. I forgot about this story, that Velasquez gets released from the WWF. Mm-hmm. Now, apparently Vince is thinking about selling the whole thing. That's out there in the rumor mill. But they didn't release him because of his performances. In fact, his performances were pretty badass. Apparently, it's being reported one of the reasons they let him go, and he could and probably will be coming back, is that he wasn't hip to the backstage etiquette in wrestling. So he had tweeted something out about Ronda Rousey being at a meeting where they were saving that for secret, that she was going to be returning. And then he had tweeted out, I guess, also that he was going to be in the Royal Rumble. Apparently they had let him know that. And then after the fact, they decided not to let him in the Royal Rumble because it was supposed to be a surprise. I mean, does that shock you? I mean, you know Kane a little bit.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. It's just a different transition from one sport to the next, or different thing to the next. And he has people who operate his accounts also. It might not even have been him.
Gotcha. So he could have just been in talks with somebody who was doing his social media, said something in passing.
He might have let it slip, or wasn't more careful about whatever, and then somebody from the social media put it out. I mean, you're not 100% sure. I doubt. You get over like 100,000. 500,000 type followers on these platforms, and usually you're having somebody help manage it on some level. Especially he's signed with CAA, so they probably have a little bit something to do with it too.
And to Kane's credit, he did to Brock Lesnar what Brock Lesnar did to Mark Hunt, only a little bit more thoroughly. I mean, he put him down with a finish, I believe, right? He finished his ass. That was
Yeah.
ooh, man.
That was a crazy fight down in L.A. It was like two bears coming together in an opening. You're walking through the forest, and it's massive men smashing together. It was crazy.
I mean, Velasquez is huge, and obviously you've trained at the AKA. Have you been next to Lesnar too? Is he just that much more intimidating? Because his forehead must be like a drive-in movie theater.
He's a big guy, but like I remember him from college because he wrestled in Minnesota when I was at Purdue. So I remember him from them. So he was a little bit smaller. He was still huge, but he was still a little bit smaller in those days.
Yeah, no, I've seen the wrestling. I mean, he was a big motherfucker, but like you say, he wasn't
So
like
big.
the muscles weren't as full. The guy's traps were insane even then. In fact, he looked
huge
like
traps. He's only like 230, 240 maybe. Now he's 300 pounds or whatever. Like,
he's a massive man. And
he's a really, really nice guy. He's always been very cordial, and when we fought on the same card a long time ago, he remembered me, made an effort to come over and say hi. He's a cool person.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's one of those. You see, here's what I like about Lesnar. He knows his worth, right? You're a guy that always talks about return on investment. He's not afraid to rock the boat. That's why he signed into the UFC in the first place. His first fight, was in a stadium in Japan. The guy backed out at the last minute, and I think he ended up beating the shit out of a ex-football star. I remember that. And then his second fight was in the UFC, but he was getting a payday. When he wasn't getting a payday from Budweiser, he dared to speak about Coors Light. He did the same thing with Vince McMahon, knew his worth in wrestling. He was upset.
He knew that it was not the way things were supposed to work. He wasn't getting any money for it. Why was he promoting it? He didn't get it. He's a businessman. He understood that.
And the other thing about him that I like is he wasn't one of these athletes that's constantly in trouble when he's at the top of his game, or wrestlers that's constantly in trouble.
He's pretty much invisible if he's not on camera.
That's right. He married a wrestler. He married Sable, at the time, which was like the hottest thing in the world. And he had a family with her, and he's so far stood by her. I got nothing but love and respect for that. And, I like to see those type of things, the Brock Lesnar's, the Tim Duncan type athletes. I know everybody loves the spectacle and the show, and yesterday tits and ass was trending because of the Michael Jordan documentary and the clip of Dennis Rodman talking about that. But that was Rodman in the 90s. Like, if you were talking about Hooters and tits and ass, that was just like you were going to get fucking chicken wings. It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was problematic. 90s.
Problematic. Yeah.
Problematic. This language is problematic.
Oh, boy.
It's microaggressions.
Well, let's do it. Let's get into the fights here. Yep. This right here, this is the first prelim. And by the way, guys, we're supposed to get fights on Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. I believe Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira is the Wednesday card. We'll preview those as well next week on Mixed Martial Mindset and go over. We'll have a lot of MMA to talk about next week. So here we got it. We got Ryan Spann versus Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey, the aging striker. Ryan Spann, the up-and-comer. I think they're obviously trying to sell Spann. Alvey's kind of been a company man. I met Alvey at the Utica event. Actually, a big fucking dude. Like, I was kind of surprised how big he was, because I'm pretty sure, I know he used to fight 185. He's doing more 205 now, but I think he's fought as low as 170 as you, John. And, I mean, when I shook his hand, man, it encompassed my fucking hand. He's a big guy. I'd love to see an Alvey knockout. I think I got Spann in a decision. What's your call?
I am unaware of these two fighters. I can't make a call.
Oh, Judge.
I don't know if I've seen Ryan Spann or Alvey fight.
Really? Alvey's been around a while. Alvey was like a Bellator guy for a while. He was an Ultimate Fighter guy. Brought him back, had some exciting ones, had some not so exciting ones. I think the one I saw him, he lost to Jean Valente. You know which one I'm talking about, right? Fucking Sarah's buddy there. No?
Valente, nope.
Or Volante. Man, I can't. I always get his last name wrong. He's one of those Long Island guys. They put him on that show with Dana White, Looking for a Fight. He took over from Dean Thomas's part when they got rid of Dean. Let's see. Second one, Bryce Mitchell, Charles Rosa, two young guys. I like Bryce. I don't know if you've seen these guys. Bryce is a good old boy.
I've seen Bryce Mitchell. Yeah.
I think
He's
I
a little
got
awkward,
him. I think Mitchell
but
comes
tough.
in. I'm going Mitchell. Second round KO on Rosa. You got a prediction for us, Smash?
No, I can't. I'm not going to do a prediction because I don't know if I remember Rosa.
I've seen him fight a couple times. I think he's more of a subs guy, but neither of them are, ranked. And I know that Bryce I've seen a couple times within the last year, maybe Rosa once. But again, there's so many of these cards now. How can you remember them all?
I'm just finally getting caught up on some of the guys, the main event guys.
Well, we'll get to.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the prelims are pretty stacked. So there's a lot of names in that one. Last week I got this wrong and I got scolded in the comments section. I thought Vicente Luque was the other guy that was doing those crazy backflips. He's not. He has been looking sharp. Nico Price, he's a tough out, but I got Luque probably first round KO.
Yeah, Luque is tough, but Price finds ways to win.
That's true.
That's for sure. But yeah, on paper, I would have to go with Luque, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nico does some crazy shit.
That's true, and I think that Nico probably has. I don't know if it's the better ground game, but he's really good at taking legs in weird positions. I've seen him do that a couple times. Not your ordinary takedowns.
There's something to be said about just being able to scramble in certain positions. Like some guys just really know how to scramble and come up in a superior position.
Tony Ferguson's one of those guys on the main event. We could talk about that later. I was watching those highlights.
The guys who have the long body type often, because they have weird leverage. They can post different spots. Luke Rockhold is like that with his ground game. It's frustrating.
Yeah? When you tangle with Luke, that's the frustrating part, that he's just so long?
You have to remember to keep everything tight. You can't ever let yourself get extended because he's just so long.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's going to give him a superior advantage in striking, right? And to get him off you?
No, he just has leverage.
Okay.
This is better leverage. And then trying to sweep somebody who has a long post, like it's harder to get up underneath, get up from underneath them.
Let's go on to the actual prelims. These are the ones that you don't have to have UFC Fight Pass for. And Uriah Hall, Ronaldo Souza. Ooh, baby. I'm looking forward to this one.
It's fun.
Oh, dude, that's a fun fight. They're both kind of veterans at this point. Souza in the game a lot longer in my, at least a lot longer in tougher competition. Souza comes out with fucking granite in his hand sometimes. Hall does. Souza's jiu-jitsu is unreal. I'd say Hall's is not on that level. However, he'll surprise you. He's got a win over Mousasi. He's got a loss on Mousasi as well. I'm trying to think. Has Souza fought Mousasi? He's got to have, right? Let's look it up live. He's got to have fought him. Right?
People.
Yep, and Souza also has the win over Mousasi, and that was Fight 950. Man, that's 6 years ago. Damn, the time flies. So they both have Mousasi wins. I think Souza's ground game is too good, and that if he gets knocked around, he drags him to the ground. I'm saying second round submission, probably choke.
No, I think Ronaldo for sure. He's got a good grappling style where he can throw heavy. He can throw heavy, but it works well into his takedowns and his sweeps and his treps. I think unless he gets clipped, he'll overwhelm Uriah Hall. I think TKO.
He might. You see, that's the thing. I've seen Souza knock people out. I've seen him bang with people. I think that though, I don't know. There's something that's gonna. This is my prediction, and who knows? Maybe I'm just off my rocker. I can see them exchanging. Souza getting the takedown, the full mount, and then he goes into the choke from there, like the head and arm. He might soften him up a little bit. I don't know. It's tough, man. Like, they both have been in the game so long that also their chin gets hit in the right spot, and you know better than anybody, everybody's got a chin. One right shot, and it's the dingo.
It's like Rock'em Sock'em robots. You get to a certain point, and it's like you just need one, and boop, you got him.
And now the battle of the babes. Can I say that? Oh,
Michelle
I think
Watterson.
they're both.
Always happy to see Michelle Watterson fight.
She looks a lot like Toots from Boomer and Toots. Why don't you tell us about that Rockfin show?
That is, our show on Rockfin, where you get a masculine and feminine point of view on current events and topics. We have a lot of fun on the show. Toots actually moved to New York today.
Wow!
So we'll be shooting the show remotely tomorrow.
So Toots took what? We're in New York. She go to the city.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
So yeah.
That's
gutsy.
Man, I talked to my ex. Actually, she called me. We talked for a while, and she does piercings or whatever. And it was probably smart of her boss. Like the last time she came up, she was constantly on her phone doing their social media, like their Instagram stories and their Snapchats and all this other stuff. So they got rid of pretty much everybody else that was doing all that, and they put it on her so she was able to maintain work and then do custom appointments as well. But she's just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, this isn't normal, and I'm not getting paid enough, and how am I going to afford my apartment when this is all over? So New York City is really the jungle. Man, this is a tough one. Man, this is 7 and 8, two little bangers, two fun ones to watch. I got Esparza. Knockout, second round.
I'm pulling for Michelle Watterson.
Oh, so what round we got? Come on, give me something.
She's going to win a decision.
Decision. Okay. She's gone to a couple. She does have a granite chin, man. I saw her get the fuck beat out of her really bad a couple times. Like, tough.
She can take a beating.
Yes. All right. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Come on. Oh, that's cool. I should have been going back and doing this. Maybe we'll go to this. All right, yeah. Let's do that. Bam. Olenek versus Verdum. Verdum hasn't fought in 2 years.
2 years. Wow. Who was his last fight?
Oh man, we looked it up. Who I think he lost. He got his head knocked off by, it has to be Stipe, right? Stipe? Wasn't that his last fight? Remember that? He thought he could strike with him. He was smiling at him and he got the shit knocked out of him. It's got to be. I'm going to look it up. Oh, we're doomed. And that's the last guy I can think of that he fought. Maybe I don't think he had a fight after that. Because I was thinking to myself, that's a bad fight for Stipe, and then he just stood there with his chin up. Man, I'm way off. He got beat by Stipe, and then there was a slew of them. Beat Travis Brown, lost to Overeem. Walt Harris beats Walt Harris, beats Tabura, and then Volkov beats him with punches. Where was that, in the 4th round? Damn, that's a deep fight for Verdum. But then again, he's gone deep with guys for a long time, I guess.
Yeah.
He did 5 rounds with Overeem back in the day when it was Ubereem and Strikeforce. That's a tough call because Olenek is a bear as well. Coming off the chin loss. Olenek lost his last fight, though, I'm pretty sure as well. Man. Olenek also tries to do subs. I think that Verdum's on the better on the ground. Man, this is a tough one. 3-round fight.
Yeah, I don't know. You got ring rust. You got an older Verdum. I think. How old is Olenek?
Oh, Olenek's fucking old. Let's see. Dude, Olenek's got to be 42. Let's see.
Okay.
I think they're both 42. I'm pretty sure that's how old Verdum is. I'll ask. Thumbs the video up, guys. We do it every week. Here we go. Olenek. How old is this bastard? Yeah, he's 42. And the last guy, he got a win over Maurice Green, but he lost to Overeem and Harris. The Harris one was tough. I remember that, but they were both in the first round. Yeah, the Harris one was 12 seconds deep. It was really quick. But he's got a win.
A good night out.
And what is that, from a sub? I'm trying to think. Submission armbar against Maurice Green. So Olenek's last fight is in January, not that long ago. Definitely not against ring rust. The guys he did beat were Hunt and that Junior Abini. Have you seen that Abini guy? He looks like he's wearing a diaper. I'm not. Have you never seen him, dude?
I don't think so,
dude. The thing is, like, his whole body is just the weirdest. Hold on, like his upper body is big, but then his legs and his just everything by his ass is just the weirdest body type I've ever seen. There he is. There's a good diaper shot. He's always looking like he's diapered up. And I don't know why it is. He doesn't have a huge upper body, but his legs and his ass are just really big.
He's thick. He's like an iceberg.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's fought some tough guys. I want Verdum to win so bad. I'd love to see him make another run, but man, I'm going.
Yeah, I got to go with the Olenek. I think ring rest. I don't know. 2 years, more than 2 years.
Yeah, he might be ready for bare knuckle boxing. I got to agree with you. I think Olenek in a decision. You know, it could be one of those fights. Definitely could be. But then again, it could be firestorms. And here we go. It's the fixes in Cerrone versus Anthony Pettis. I don't know if you've seen the recent interviews that supposedly vindicate Stephen Smith. But now Cerrone's saying he just wasn't in it and he didn't show up that night. And he knew he wasn't going to show up 2 nights before the fight. He says he just wasn't there to fight. And he just wasn't feeling it. I'm hoping Anthony Pettis knocks Cowboy Cerrone out in the second. Unfortunately, I think Cowboy's actually a really tough fighter. And this could be a barn burner. This could be a 3-round bloodbath. But I'm picking Pettis in the second. Who you got?
Yeah, they both have. It could be a bloodbath. They both have mileage though, so they could find the button. You know, in the first round, it's a possibility. I don't know. I still think Anthony Pettis is still undersized for. They're fighting at 55 this time.
No, they're fighting at 170. They both fought Tony Ferguson at 170. Those were bloodbaths. I don't know if you watched those fights, but go watch both of them. All right, so that's my problem. Cowboy, although he was, winning and losing, if you watch that fight against Tony Ferguson, it is a fucking war, and they have to stop it in the beginning of the third round because his entire eye is shut. Now you watch that fight with Anthony Pettis and Tony Ferguson. It's another bloodbath. They're both throwing up crazy shit. I love this fight, but because of what you did, Cowboy, I cannot forgive the sin of promoting a rapist. I will not forgive that sin. I'm going Anthony Pettis second round knockout on behalf of baby Jesus Christ. You're not taking? Who are you taking? Come on. Give me something, Fitch.
I'm going with Pettis in a decision.
Pettis in the decision. All right, now we're getting into, I believe, the main card. That's a great card, by the way, for the regular prelims on television. If they don't sell pay-per-views that way, I don't know how they're going to.
No, that's a card for whatever, the Fight Pass or whatever for free Fox or whatever the hell they're doing now.
This one's on. I think they're airing this. Not just on ESPN Plus. I think it's going to be on regular ESPN. But you're right. That would be like a really good fight night if this was the headline. It's a strong fight night card for sure. Strong fight night card. But now they've even added more. And I mean, they've added so much more. So excited.
Much more.
Oh, dude. I haven't seen my brother in person in fucking, since this whole thing began in the last major fights. I'm excited, I get to see my family. We get to watch fights. And hopefully we get to see Yorgan De Castro clip Greg Hardy in his woman-beaten face.
Yorgan De Castro.
I'm taking Yorgan De Castro in the first. I think this motherfucker's going in there to put a hurting on Hardy. I think this is Hardy's last chance. You and I talked about it. He might be more trouble than he's worth. I can't even believe that he's 5-1 and 1 no contest. He clearly should have lost that second fight, or that 1 no contest where he knees the guy in the face and sucks down a fucking inhaler. This guy's way overrated. Yorgan De Castro looks hungry. I got Yorgan first KO. Tell me what you think.
I've not been impressed with Greg Hardy at all. I could care less for whatever the out of fight theatrics, whatever. But I get a War Machine vibe from him. A little bit. So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in seeing this Yorgan. He looks formidable.
You know what? Sometimes a belly,
Yeah.
You get a little muster.
Sometimes it's just a little more. It just gets a little more velocity. Helps you torque through better.
mean,
That little getting that belly swing.
it was funny because like Ben Rothwell was asked why so many 205ers seem to be coming up to heavyweight division, and he didn't pull any punches. He goes, because they think the heavyweight division sucks. They're like, they think that we suck. And I'm thinking to myself, let them think that, because guys like Rothwell have been in the game a long time. They're still pretty formidable. They've never had, that crazy body. Roy Nelson never had that crazy body. There's plenty of guys, even Cain Velasquez never had that cut look. You know what I mean? Never needed it. And he's one of the scariest dudes to ever step in there. So,
I mean, just the power. Like the human head is still the same size. Like you could weigh 100 pounds, you could weigh 300 pounds. The human head is still pretty much the same size. The bones thickness level is about the same. So when you have somebody who punches with that much velocity and force, like it just does a lot more damage.
yeah. And again, you get next to some of these heavyweights. These are some big ass boys. Greg, I can't wait to watch you lose. Here's a good one. Jeremy, Little Heathen Stevens versus Calvin Kattar. I love this fight. This is a tough one for me to call. Every time you count Stevens out, he finds a way to win. I think this is a striking matchup for sure. But I don't know how
they're probably going to go in there and make it out.
Yeah, I don't know how I can go against Kattar, though. He's looked really good in the UFC. He's hungry. He's honed. I don't like betting against Stevens. I want to see a banger of a fight. I expect to see one. I'm going second round KO Kattar.
Man, I guess I'm leaning towards Kattar too. I think he just has a little less mileage than Stevens. Stevens is tough though. You can't count him out.
Certainly not. And again, this is almost a pick 'em fight for me. I don't know what the odds are, but I think they got the Vegas odds on here now. Where are they? Is this really how far I have to go down? I saw the odds on the other one. Maybe not. Maybe the UFC is trying to keep it semi-clean. Doubtful. All right. This is the thumbnail, folks. I'm excited. Francis Ngannou, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and I'll tell you what, Rozenstruik has looked like the scariest dude the UFC's had in a while. He's quiet. He's patient.
It's the two scariest dudes.
And have you seen what Ngannou looks like right now?
He's the monster in that photo alone. He's a monster. Jeez.
Let's bring it up. I saw the photo the other day. Ngannou.
He's getting even more jacked.
Dude, it was unreal. Like I saw it and I was like, man, I want to.
USADA paying him special visits.
Yeah, USADA didn't. Let's see. Is this the rip picture? No, I saw it on social media. Let's see. How about ripped? And then go all. Yes, there it is. Talk Sport. He does not look like a human being, folks. Look at this guy. Come on with all this nonsense. Like that is a big dude.
Big dude.
Like a big, scary guy. Now, if you look at Rozenstruik, he doesn't seem to have that cut on him. By no means does he look like a small man. But this is a tough one again. Because when Ngannou gets in there with someone he's kind of scared of, like Derek Lewis, you had a 5-round snoozer.
Yeah, he doesn't like getting hit. That's the thing. Ngannou has huge power. He'll punch your face off, but he doesn't want to get hit at all.
Which I can understand.
He's not the kind of guy who's like, I'm gonna bite down on my mouthpiece. I don't care if you hit me. I'm gonna hit you harder. He doesn't really have that. No,
he doesn't. But again, who are his losses to? His losses are to Stipe, to Lewis, and I forget what the third loss is. Is that Overeem or no? Can't be.
No, he knocked
Overeem out, right?
To subconsciousness.
Well, Rozenstruik did too, but he waited till the last 20 seconds of the fight. Mm-hmm. Like literally, at minute 24:40, he knocked the guy's face off. He knocked his face off. It's a tough call. I think someone gets knocked out. I don't think it's a 3-round snoozer. It's hard for me to bet against Rosenstrike. It really is. I realize Ngannou's number 2. I'm going Rosenstrike.
Yeah, man, I'm going with Rosenstrike too. I don't think Ngannou will engage. I don't think it's going to be. It might turn out not to be the fight we think it's going to be.
Yeah, that's a good point. Again, that's the other thing. Rosenstrike's patient, but he's kind of a jab and a counter strike. But his jab is nasty. He rocks you with that. It's that second and third punch that puts you out. But then you look at that.
This is going to be a decision won by the jab.
Let's see if we can. I just want to show everybody that Overeem lip strike gif. Let's see if it's there. If someone's got it, lip strike gif images. Let me see if we can just. Here we go. Whap! That one did come from way back, but one hand. Look at this. Look at his leg on that. His leg's not even balanced. His lunges. Whoa, man. I mean, that is.
It's almost a Superman punch.
Boop! It really is, right? Because if you look, he's coming off that first strike. He's barely on balance. His left foot isn't even planted when he hits him. He generates the
power from kicking that leg back.
Look at that! Damn.
That's basically is a Superman punch.
Yeah, and it really does look that way. It is, because look at that lunge, and he's not on balance at all. Man, I'm excited. We should all be excited. All right, you'd think, well, that would be enough. But then, they're giving you Cejudo Cruz. Oh!
The little guy's going to work. Dominic Cruz back. How long has he been out?
Probably over 2 years again. Let's go. Let's look it up. I want to say he's gone for 2 years. Maybe a year and a half, because I think he might have had one fight in between. I remember he got his comeback fight, and then he was injured again. Dominic.
Yeah, he's had so many injuries. He's had as many injuries as the Khabib and Tony Ferguson fight has been called off.
You're not wrong. You may be more. I mean, does that fight ever happen? My God.
September.
I hope so, bro. I really do.
If Tony doesn't lose on Saturday.
Yeah, I know. We'll get into that in a minute.
Don't get canceled.
So
Saturday.
His last
Disney
fight
makes a call.
Did I say 2 years? Brother, take a look. We're talking about 3.5 years.
Wow.
And he's coming off his only. So what, did they take away one of his losses? I'm looking at his UFC thing. He says he's 18-1-0. But yeah, no, he lost to both Cody Garbrandt and Uriah Faber. They're not going to count the Faber loss?
Somebody fail a drug test?
That's what I'm thinking, but why? I mean, Faber's loss is in 2007. That can't be. And then as far as I know, Garbrandt hasn't popped hot. Maybe that's just a UFC mistake. It's got to be. And yeah, and that was when Cody was, on his run. And Cody went in there, shocked me. Like, again, I thought Dominic Cruz was going to do the work. He didn't look sharp. That's the only fight I'd say he's never looked sharp in. I mean, even that loss to Faber, where he gets subbed, until that happened, it was pretty close, and that's 13 years ago. I love Dominic Cruz. It's hard for me to bet against him, but then again, Cejudo found a way to push through Demetrius Johnson when no one could. And he's motivated. He's arrogant. He's an Olympian. He's an amazing wrestler. This is maybe one of the toughest calls. 5-round fight. Littler guys' decisions happen. Man, Cejudo, though, likes to go for the finish. Cruz strikes. Damn, this is a tough one. This is a tough one to call.
I'm going with Cejudo. I say Henry Cejudo.
You think Cejudo wins on strikes or subs?
He's got the wrestling background. He can get the takedown if he needs to. He pushes the pace, the pressure. He controls where the fight goes. Any wrestler who is a superior wrestler can use his wrestling to wear his opponent out in the first, second round, grind him down, and then stand up, open up, and take advantage of him.
I mean, it's hard to argue with that logic. The problem is I'm going to want to see a first round because Dominic Cruz is a really tall 135er. He's got pretty good distance, pretty good length. I think it's going to be hard for Cejudo to get inside without getting hit. And, I mean, Dominic's got power, man. That's a tough call. You could be right. He could get in there, grind him down. He certainly has the superior wrestling. Again, we haven't seen Dominic Cruz in almost 4 years, 3.5 years, probably 4 years since his last win. I love his commentary. Damn, and I don't like betting against Henry. Just because you bet Henry and you did a good job, because again, it'd be hard. 5-round grind.
Years off, 5-round fight against a Olympic champion, 2 division champ. It's tough. It's a tough one.
And you know what? He's similar in size to Faber, right? Faber's got that smaller, stockier build. You know, Faber's been able to beat Dominic Cruz, but then Cruz has been able to beat Faber. I'm going to go with 3rd round KO Dominic Cruz. I think he catches him on the way in and ends Cejudo's 135 championship run. But I can't wait to watch the fight, because that's just a shot in the dark right there. I'm not even sure if that's going to happen. But here we go. Gaethje, Ferguson. Give it to me. What do you got? I'll let you go first on this one.
Oh, man. Tony is unorthodox. He's long reach, good chin. He hasn't lost a long time. Still has kind of momentum, internal momentum, internal inertia from how he's done over the last decade. But Gaethje, I really like the shift in his tactical approach to the fights recently. Mm-hmm. He's super tough. He's had some wars, but I think he's going to take less damage as he goes forward. And I think I think Gaethje has a really good chance to win this fight.
I'll say this. This is what I'm thinking. If Gaethje can get it done, he either gets it done in round 1 or 2. You know, Tony's been stung before when he has won. I don't know if you just get stung from Gaethje, because if Gaethje stings you, he'll go in with 8 more. Now, Ferguson's a beast. He's a battler. He fights back. He looks like he gets rocked and is in there. If it's in the first 2, I think Gaethje knocks him out. However, I'm still going this prediction. I think that it gets into a brawl. I think that Ferguson stuns him, takes his back, chokes him out. The only 2 losses you got for Gaethje are Poirier, again in one of those rock'em sock'em robot fights, and a similar deal with Eddie Alvarez in a rock'em sock'em robot fight. I don't think Ferguson goes that route. I think you might see flashes of that, 3 bangers apiece exchanging, but I don't think that it ends with them just hauling off on each other, because whenever that happens to Tony, he does one of those awkward rolls, or he reaches for your ankle in a weird way, or he'll just throw himself to the ground on his back and, dare you to pull guard. And I don't think Gaethje's going to jump into Tony Ferguson's guard at any point in this fight. I got Ferguson 3rd round KO, or not KO, chokeout, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm praying for that Khabib Ferguson fight to actually happen.
Yeah, it's a big problem. If Tony doesn't win, then we miss out possibly on the Khabib fight.
I mean, that's insane. I mean, is it going to be one of those things where it finally happens, like when they're in their 40s? Those fights, like you really want. To see
there's not going to be that. Khabib beats Gaethje, then that's the next possible fight. The only thing that screws things up is if they try to do some circus shit.
They will. They'll give the fucking shot to McGregor. They will. Exactly. Dude.
It's Tony Ferguson.
Listen.
You are going to fight Khabib. No, never mind. You're going to fight GSP.
It looks like GSP is trying to maybe get 1 or 2 more big prize fights, and whatever, if he's going to get paid.
Why not jump in, fight for a belt, and make it 10 million.
Exactly.
They'll probably clear that. They'll probably clear that in one fight.
I agree. I'd do the same thing. I mean, what?
If he wins, he's like the greatest person who's ever done anything in any sport ever. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, yeah, what's the risk? Why not?
Yeah, and even if he loses, it's not really a blemish on his career, because he even has that one where he took the 185 title from Bisping. And to Bisping's credit, he defended it once against Henderson, and I wanted Henderson so bad in that fight, but I gave that fight to Bisping 3-2, and that's how the judges saw it.
Henderson won it.
What's that? You did have Henderson winning
Henderson won that fight.
You do? 3-2?
Won that fight.
Hey, Dan Henderson's one of my all-time fames. No shame in that. Speaking of comeback fights, I'm sure that you saw Tyson hitting pads. Have you seen those videos? Looks scary.
Wild,
scary. Right? And he's saying he wants to do 3 or 4 round exhibition fights for some money and charity. Translation, folks. He wants the money. He's worried about the money, not so much.
Even the marketing aspect of that, like how many people are going to talk about Mike Tyson if he has a exhibition match with somebody? Like it's just marketing. Like he's going to get a bunch more clicks. He's going to get more people checking out his podcast. He's going to get more people buying his weed. Yeah.
What if it's a legit one though? What if he gets Bernard Hopkins to fight him? Like that would seriously think about it. Bernard won the championship legit at 50, right? Bernard's got to be 54, 55, right? Got to be somewhere in there, right around that age. You know, they're similar in age. I'm sure Hopkins can do, catch weight. Tyson looks, he's a short guy, but he looks like he's like 230 right now. He looks fucking.
He's still like 5'10", 5'11". He's not that short.
For boxing heavyweights, you watch those fights when he's fighting those
nowadays,
monsters.
yeah, the giants they have. The guys are 6'6", 6'9".
Dude, he fought Frank Bruno twice. Frank Bruno was like fucking huge guy. I'm not sure how tall is Hopkins. I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know.
We do it live here. Bernard Hopkins. I think that would be
one of the greatest ever.
Listen, DAZN,
Yeah,
what are you waiting for? Like that's what we want to see. Bernard Hopkins again. Right in that age range.
Tyson should fight one of the Paul brothers.
55. He should fight both Paul brothers at the same time, and they can kick, punch, and bite. That's the only way that happens.
It's funny.
Man, I don't know. Can Hopkins put on the weight? He's 6'1". And I'm sure, he's got to be.
Yeah, but he's 170 foot. No way, man. He's.
I want to say he got more belts than that.
He's going to give up 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah, but that was, I think, his last title run. Let's see. Because I know he's boxed heavier than 170. Middleweight, I think, isn't middleweight 185? It is, right? Because 205 is light heavyweight. So he's fought middleweight, and he's been the champ. I don't know. That would be my kind. I'd step up for that. Did you see that they got the Mountain fighting the 2017 World's Strongest Man?
Thorpe Johnson, yeah, I've got him. I follow him on Instagram.
Who you got in that one?
I don't know. I don't know who the other guy is, but
you don't know the Mountain? You know the fucking Mountain, John.
I know who Thorpe is. Who's the other guy?
Hold on.
Yeah, he's fighting the Strongest Man.
He's fighting the 2010 versus. World's Strongest Boxing. There it is. Let's see. Eddie Hall. So don't get me wrong. Eddie Hall's also just a huge monster right here.
Yeah, they're going to gas out. Are they rounds?
Like
get so tired.
Like Pujanowski in MMA. I'm sure you've seen.
He's had a lot of fights though.
Yeah, he has. Well,
he's a certified MMA fighter now. He's not just a strongman. Mm-hmm. He's had 10 fights probably.
I think maybe even more than that. I remember watching Pujanowski's first one, and dude, those muscles.
Awful. He got so red, he couldn't breathe, could barely move his arms.
Well, so did Batista in his one MMA fight. Have you ever watched that one? Yeah. His whole body was fucking almost purple by the end of that fight.
Yep.
Oh, folks, it's Mixed Martial Mindset. This is John Fitch. Sign up for John's newsletter. Get the Weight Cut Bible. Tell them about not only the Weight Cut Bible, but how they get a piece of your other book out there.
Yeah, so I have another book, Failing Upward, Death by Ego. It's also available on Amazon. It's I have a chapter in my weight cut book for you to check that out. It's a free sample. I also have another show that I just started doing on Rockfin. Did you catch that one?
I saw your thumbnail. What was it?
It's cauliflower and cocktails. It's the cauliflower and cocktail hour. So I'm going to do a happy hour at 4 on Thursdays.
So now you're going live Tuesdays and Thursdays. You got Boomer and Toots, and then you've got Cocktail and Cauliflower.
Yep, the cocktail and cauliflower hour, or cauliflower and cocktail hour.
Now, is that in reference to all the cauliflower ear that wrestlers and MMA fighters receive?
Yes, because I have the cauliflower ear. So like I miss happy hour. So I dressed up like I was going to happy hour. I stood at the bar, I had my camera set up, and I had a bottle of scotch. What's it called? Lagavulin.
Oh, Lafroig?
No, Lagavulin.
Okay.
And I might get Lafroig one of these times, but next time it's going to be Macallan 12. But I just sampled it. It was the first time I had it that day, and I did a little history. I gave some background information on the drink. Talked about the tasting notes and stuff that they give at whiskey.com, and then we watched a little video about the where they brew it.
And that was free.
Distillery.
Well, that's cool. So, guys, again, if you haven't signed up for Rockfin yet, please go sign up for Rockfin. You can watch cauliflower and cocktails for free. If you want to endorse either I or John, you get all of our premium content. Mm-hmm. And by the way, guys, again, I want to put it out there. Some of the premium content, we've got the exclusive Gavin McInnes speech over at the National File event. And for free, for those that follow me on Rockfin, Michael Flynn Jr. was talking about all these things that are now happening in court with his father about being set up by the FBI 2 months ago in D.C. Did the media talk about it? No. Did the media cover it? No. And honestly, if you watch this speech, you'll find out there's even more to the story than you're being told on Fox News. So again, we're putting up 5 exclusives a week at Rockfin now. I'm doing it, and I'm going to be going live on Rockfin later tonight, not on YouTube. We might do it free to start so you can join in, and then we'll make it premium later. But again, it helps us so much when you support us that way, guys, especially with all the censorship out there. I'm on Minds. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share while you still can, because, God, I don't even know if I'm going to have a Facebook or a YouTube. Doesn't matter. My analytics are fucking incredible. Dude, my analytics, I was looking at them the other day, and I was going, to some of my influencer friends, and I'm like, oh, what's your average watch time on your video? And they're like 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, stuff like that. I'm like, my average watch time for the month was 11 minutes and 56 seconds. And my average watch time for the year was 9 minutes, 50 seconds. You know what YouTube does? It opens my mouth and it shits all over it. That's what it does. Sean Atwood contacted me about being on his podcast several weeks ago. I just got the email that a couple of his videos had been demonetized. I'm a little dangerous. So right now, maybe it's not the best time for Jason Burmis to be on the show. David Icke, banned everywhere. I'm a little guy out there, guys. I know. I mean, when I'm dangerous.
So
yeah, go ahead.
What's the big gist of David Icke? What is the big argument that David Icke presents that they are trying to shut up?
What they're saying is the reason that triggered this, even though he had 0 copyright strikes and all those things. And I don't know how familiar you are with Icke, right?
Not very. That's why I'm kind of asking.
Yeah. All right. So I interviewed Icke probably 2008, 2009. I was always torn with David Icke because David Icke's a guy that's been writing since the 90s, right? But his book from, I think it's 1998, John. This is pre 9/11. It might be The Biggest Secret, and then there's Children of the Matrix. I think both of those are pre 9/11. That's where he gets into the shape-shifting lizard people that you hear so much about. The Anunnaki, all that stuff. And I was always like, man, I can't get down with this. I like a lot of what this guy's saying, but this is too much. And Credo Mutwa, and I'm the guy that, read these books, watched, this guy's done fucking 5-hour presentations at Wembley Stadium at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, commands a room, the whole thing. We're talking, this is a guy that's talked about Hollow Moon, metaphysics, like nothing being solid. He's talked about just about anything under the sun that just is wild. But he was also one of the first people to expose the high-level pedophilia in the royal family and named Jimmy Savile as a fucking serial pedophile. Exactly. So I've always made my qualms with what I disagree with Icke by the fact that after the Trump presidency, he was still anti-war. Whereas so many people jumped on this kind of bandwagon where Trump could do no wrong. He didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, he stuck by all this stuff. So now they're
when's the last time
claiming.
you heard somebody complain about a drone bomb?
I mean, can you believe it?
Did they just stop? They just stop? They're not killing any civilians at all by drone now?
This
It's
president
100% over?
has droned more people than anybody. In fact, I'll say
Hear
this.
anything about it.
When I was hanging out with the InfoWars crew and we were sitting here and having beers, smoking a blunt, hanging with Rob, doing the gang, and Hank Harrison, I think is his name, and a couple other people there. We were talking about it, and they talked about drone bomber, and I go, dude, this administration has drone bombed more than that one. They're like, that's not true. And then I pull it up, and they're like, now did they report it? No. But on the other flip, and I'm glad you got me to say this story. I went to go tag Rob Dew in my Alex Jones sing-along video when Ike got banned because we broke out into that song while we were at the hotel, all fun and games. His Twitter wasn't there. So I text him, and I'm like, what fucking happened? You get pulled from Twitter? And I don't get a response for a while, so I do my own investigation. One article about Rob Dew's personal Twitter account, Hank Harrison's personal Twitter account, and anybody who worked at InfoWars that had a personal account that still posted videos of Alex Jones, all banned from Twitter. So that didn't even really make the alternative media, the mainstream media, shows you that they can unperson people that aren't Alex Jones. When I went to go do that video, John, I wanted to pull up pictures of me and Alex. Because, he produced my film Invisible Empire. We had a couple pictures where we're doing it. So I go to my Facebook. Guess what's gone? Every picture I've ever taken with Alex. Not only every picture I've taken with Alex Jones, but I had my my timeline for Invisible Empire. Like the timeline for the editing or whatever. And someone must have tagged him in it. That picture's gone. He didn't even have to fucking be in the picture. He just had to be tagged in it, and Facebook just says you're gone. So Facebook decides to ban Ike on, what was it? What's today? Today's Monday. I think they banned him on a Thursday or a Friday. YouTube bans him on a Saturday, and they basically say it's coronavirus related. You're not allowed to have an opinion. You're not allowed to talk about anything. And then London Real had been putting interviews up with Ike. They'd been pulled down. They decided to go live with Ike, and as we started the program talking about it, 88,000 viewers later, 45 minutes in, and probably $10,000 in super chats, they just pull it. They just pull it. And I don't know about you, John, but that's scary to me because I think that the way that you combat false speech or misinformation is more speech and fact-based evidence.
Mm-hmm. Evidence. We like evidence.
Guys, we're going to be reviewing big fights next week. Actual fights that we're not just going to talk about them as if they're going to happen. They'll have happened, and we're going to talk about them. John, as always, I thank you, brother, and I will see all of you guys on the flip side.
I'll check you guys later.